everyone. Today I am going to start a comparison between substitution and elimination. Okay. I am sure if you watch the video until the last minute, we should be able to predict whether it is a substitution or elimination. Substitution again, SN1, SN2. Elimination E1, E2. Out of these four, you should be able to predict which type of mechanism it is, okay, which type of product it is. You should be able to easily identify if you watch this video until the last minute, okay. Now, so first I will explain all the mechanisms briefly. After that we will compare exactly what is the products, how to identify the products based on the different types of factors, okay. Now, see, predicting substitution versus elimination. First, SN1 mechanism. SN1 mechanism is a unimolecular mechanism. It is a two-step mechanism. Intermediates are carbocation. First step is what? Alkyl halide form the carbocation. This is carbocation. First step, formation of carbocation, and this step is said to be slow step. Slow step, nothing but which is rate determining step. Always rate determining steps are slow step, because this is the undergo breaking of the bond, ionization. That's why it is a slow step and rate determining step. Now second step is what? Nucleophile will attack at the carbocation and it forms the product. This is first step. Okay. SN1 is a bimolecular mechanism. SN1 is a two-step mechanism, unimolecular mechanism. Formation of carbocation, slow step. Second step is formation of product by nucleophilic attack, which is first step. Now I will compare with E1. Let us come back from SN1 to E1. E1 also two-step mechanism. Okay. First step is formation of carbocation. Formation of carbocation is the common step for SN1 and E1. Carbocation formation is same for SN1, E1. In both the mechanisms, carbocation is forming in the first step, which is always slow step and rate determining step. Rate determining step. Second step is a difference. We can see the difference between SN1, E1 in the second step only. In the second step of SN1, nucleophilic attack. Nucleophile is going to attack at carbocation. We get nucleophilic product. But in second step of E1, base will abstract one proton. Base will abstract one proton. Abstraction of the proton by the base in the second step of E1. After abstracting a proton by the base, this sigma electrons are transferred as pi bonds and it forms the alkene. It forms alkene. Formation of alkene is a major product and is only the product in the E1 mechanism. Is it clear? SN1, E1. SN1, E1 both are unimolecular mechanism. Both are two-step mechanism. Both forms carbocation is intermediate, but second step is a difference. Second step in SN1, nucleophilic attack, and second step in the E1, abstraction of the proton from the base. Okay, it can form the alkene here. Here we get nucleophilic product in SN1. Is it clear now? Now, let us compare SN2 and E2. SN2 mechanism, E2 mechanism, both are bimolecular mechanisms. Second order kinetics. In this SN2, directly nucleophile will attack at the carbon, halogen bearing carbon. As soon as nucleophile attack at this carbon, X is eliminated and it can form direct product. It is a single step mechanism. Single step mechanism also said to be concerted mechanisms. Here bond forming between nucleophilic and carbon, bond breaking between carbon halogen takes place in single step. That type of mechanisms are concerted mechanisms, right? In SN2, direct nucleophile will attack. As soon as nucleophile attack at the carbon, halogen is eliminated, we get nucleophilic product. If you observe the E2, SN2, E2 both are single step mechanism. In E2, base will abstract the proton. As soon as the base will abstract the proton, these electrons are transferred in the double bond formation and halogen is eliminated. And we get the product as alkene. Right? What is the major difference between SN2 and E2? The major difference is in SN2, nucleophile will be taken. It undergoes substitution at the halogen bearing carbon. We get nucleophilic product. In E2, we will take the base. Base will abstract the proton from the beta position, from the beta carbon. Abstraction of the proton from the base, it forms the alkene in the E2 mechanism. Okay, is it clear about the SN1 E1, SN2 E2? Okay, this is a clear picture about the 4 mechanisms. Now, we will compare by taking the factors. How can we predict substitution elimination? Okay. Now let us see this from guidelines of the predicting substitution elimination. Here we have to follow some rules to identify or to understand substitution versus elimination. First point is the strength of the base or nucleophile determines the order of reaction. Okay, the strength of the base will decide, or strength of the nucleophile will decide the order of the reaction. Means second order kinetics or first order kinetics. We already know second order kinetics, it may be SN2 or E2, which depends on concentration of alkyl halide and also nucleophile, I mean base also. That will decide the order. For example, if I take the strong base if I take, okay, strong base, this will always suggest second order kinetics, okay, or strong nucleophile. Strong base means I can write it as a E2 mechanism. Strong nucleophile, SN2 mechanism. So both comes under second order kinetics. Okay. So from this I can conclude that strong base or strong nucleophile whenever present on the reaction mixture, they follow second order kinetics. Second order kinetic reactions are what? I can write 2 reactions which are second order, that is SN2 and E2. It may be SN2 or it may be E2 whenever strong nucleophile or strong base are present. Similarly, if I take the weak base, or it may be weak nucleophile also, right? Weak nucleophile, weak base. If weak base is present, E1 mechanism. Weak nucleophile is present, SN1 mechanism, right? So the products what I can write here, first order kinetics. First order kinetic reactions are what here? SN1 or E1. SN1, E1 both are first order kinetics. Is it clear? First point. The strength of the base or nucleophile determines the order of the reaction. Strong base or strong nucleophile, they can favor second order kinetics, SN2, E2. Weak base or weak nucleophile favors first order kinetics, that is SN1 or E1. Right? Now, second point is, we will discuss about the factors of alkyl halide. Which type of alkyl halides undergo which type of mechanism by using different types of bases and nucleophiles. Primary alkyl halides undergoes by SN2. Yes or no? Primary alkyl halides always undergo by SN2. Because in SN2 mechanism, nucleophile will attack from the backside. If nucleophile has to attack from the backside, alkyl halide must be unhindered. Right? Primary alkyl halides are unhindered. So, they always favors by SN2 mechanism. Rarely E2. Sometimes we may get E2 also. When we get E2? With bulkier base. When we take the bulkier base, then we get E2. If bulkier base is not present, we get only SN2. This is the point with primary alkyl halides. For example, I have taken the both are primary alkyl halides. So both are primary alkyl halide. This is a primary, this is also primary. Primary alkyl halides on reaction with, this is said to be sodium methoxide. Sodium methoxide can write strong nucleophile. Strong nucleophile. Of course, strong base also. If it is strong nucleophile, this attacks from the back side and Br is eliminated and we get SN2 product. This is SN2 product. And no E2 product here. E2 product I don't observe this. Very less quantity, minor we get. Why only SN2, why not E2 here? I told you. Whenever strong nucleophiles, strong bases are there, first point, which type of reaction? SN2 or E2? SN2 or E2. So there are two possibilities, SN2 and E2. Out of these two, one will be the major. So how to identify that major here? In this case, it is a primary alkyl halide. Primary alkyl halides with strong nucleophile undergo SN2. If it has to form E2, E2 elimination is more favorable with tertiary alkyl halides. Yes or no? E2 elimination is more favorable with tertiary alkyl halides because in the E2 elimination it has to involves elimination process definitely by the more hindered, then it will undergo elimination process. Otherwise elimination is not possible with primary alkyl halides. Okay. So in this case, it only form SN2, no E2. The reason why it is not forming E2, it is a primary alkyl halide. Primary alkyl halides are rarely undergo by E2 mechanism. Okay. Now, when they undergo E2 now with the primary alkyl halides, E2 product also form from primary alkyl halides, but by changing the nucleophile base. Here I have taken one base here. This is bulkier base. I told you, E2 is possible with bulkier base. Bulkier base here, this is tertiary butoxide. Tertiary butoxide. Tertiary butoxide is a highly hindered group, means more bulkier. If it has to form SN2 product like in the first case, it has to attack at this carbon. Due to bulkiness, this molecule cannot reach to this carbon to form substitution. Yes or no? Due to very bulkiness, this nucleophile cannot reach to this carbon and cannot undergo by substitution. But instead of substitution, it can simply abstract one proton. It can simply abstract one proton from the beta position. For this bulkier group, abstraction of the proton from the beta carbon is very easy comparing to substitution at alpha carbon. Yes or no? Here we have to understand substitution versus elimination. Due to bulkiness, this molecule cannot undergo substitution at alpha carbon. Instead, it can easily abstract the proton from the beta position and it can form the product that is E2 product. It can form E2. No substitution in this reaction. Why there is no substitution in this reaction? Because it is a bulkier molecule. Whenever bulkier bases or bulkier nucleophiles are there, they cannot undergo by substitution because they are very more in mass. They cannot reach to the carbon, they cannot undergo substitution. Instead, they can abstract the proton easily and form the E2 product. Understood? So these two cases, I written to example, primary alkyl halide with strong nucleophile. We are getting only SN2, no E2, because E2 is more favorable with tertiary alkyl halides. And primary alkyl halide, tertiary butoxide, which is weak base, strong base and weak nucleophile. Remember this. Tertiary butoxide is a weak base, weak nucleophile and strong base. It is a weak nucleophile. Why it is a weak nucleophile? Because of its crowdingness, because of its hindrance, its size. It is weak nucleophile. What is strong base? Why it is a strong base? Because tertiary butyl alcohol is a weak acid. Tertiary butyl alcohol is a weak acid. Its conjugate base, tertiary butoxide, will be the strong base. Okay? Due to hindrance, it can always form the E2. This is about the primary alcohol. Remember one point about primary alcohol? Primary alcohol with strong nucleophile forms SN2. E2, to form the product with E2, it has to be very bulkier molecule. Like the molecule should be alkyl halide either bulkier or nucleophile should be bulkier or base should be bulkier. Then only it can form the E2. Otherwise, E2 will not form. Only the predominant reaction to primary alkyl halides are called SN2. Is it clear? Now let us see another point. Tertiary alkyl halides undergoes usually E2 with strong base. When you take the strong base, tertiary alkyl halides form the E2 product. Okay? Or mixture of SN1 and E1 with weak base. If I take the weak base or solvent, good ionizable solvent, it always favor first order kinetics. Okay? So with weak base, it always first order kinetics. First order kinetics means SN1 and E2. But if I take strong base, E2 only form. SN2 will not be formed with tertiary alkyl halides. Why SN2 is not forming with tertiary alkyl halides? Because the order of reactivity of SN2, order of reactivity of alkyl halide for SN2 is more favorable for primary alkyl halides. The alkyl halide should be unhindered. Then only it can form SN2 product. But tertiary alkyl halide is more hindered. More hindered alkyl halide with strong base, they cannot able to form, even strong nucleophile also, they cannot able to form SN2 product. Right? Now see. So this is tertiary alkyl halides. Tertiary alkyl halides, I am taking here this is a strong base. Strong base. Of course, strong nucleophile also. Let us compare two I will compare. If I take strong base, it has to form E2. Basic nature, mean base always present in the elimination process, not in substitution, right? So I will take the E2 because it is a tertiary and strong conditions. So what is that? From this you can eliminate one hydrogen and Br is eliminated. So the resulting product is alkene. This is E2. Why I am not getting SN2? No SN2 product in this case. Why no SN2 forming in this? Because for SN2 product, alkyl halide must be unhindered. Unhindered means primary alkyl halides or methyl halides. But here it is a bulkier molecule, hindered alkyl halides. So with highly hindered alkyl halides, even strong nucleophile also, no SN2 product. Understand the point? That's why I write only E2. The point is very clear. Tertiary alkyl halides, strong base, only E2. Or tertiary alkyl halides, strong nucleophile, only E2. Sometimes one substance it acts as a nucleophile as well as base. Methoxide, strong nucleophile, strong base. But this strong nucleophile cannot convert this hindered alkyl halide into SN2. We get only E2. Right? Next, this is again same molecule I have taken. But this molecule is what? Solvent. This is good ionizable solvent. Good ionizable solvent. Good ionizable solvent means these are weak bases or weak nucleophiles. Okay, if you want to understand about what is nucleophile, strong nucleophile, weak base, strong base, I made one video about this, about basicity versus nucleophilicity, how to identify strong base, weak base and leaving groups. I made few videos about that. I will mention that link in the description box. You can watch that and you can understand. After that you can continue this. Let me continue. In this reaction I can write CH3. So I can write here this H is eliminated and Br is eliminated. The product will be E2 and it can also form, E1, it can also form SN1. Means this nucleophile can attack here by formation of carbocation. It undergo formation of carbocation, so this will attack. So nucleophilic attack also takes place. It forms SN1. Okay. So tertiary alkyl halides on reaction with a good ionizable solvent, okay, meaning weak base or weak nucleophile, it can form a mixture of the products E1 and SN1. In most of the cases, mixture will be formed with the tertiary alkyl halides and weak base and weak nucleophile. But some cases only one product will predominate. That depends on conditions. For example, for the same reaction, if high temperature is taken, the reaction is mentioned high temperature. If high temperature is preferred, in that case, E2 will be the measure. Okay, that depends. That depends on the reaction conditions. What is given conditions in the reaction. Okay, so most of the cases, tertiary alkyl halides and good ionizable solvent like polar protic solvents, it can form E1 plus SN1. Depending on the conditions, like high temperature is mentioned, E1 will be the measure. Otherwise, both will be formed because tertiary alkyl halides more reactive towards SN1 as well as E1 with weak bases. Good solvent. Okay. Now, primary is very clear, tertiary is very clear. There is no controversy about the primary and tertiary. Now, the difficult part is secondary alkyl halides. That's why I am explaining in the end that secondary alkyl halides. First, to make sure we are clear about the primary alkyl halides, tertiary alkyl halides. Secondary alkyl halides, we have a difficulty in predicting substitution and elimination. The reason is tertiary alkyl halides are not very reactive like tertiary, not poor reactive like primary. Okay, at the secondary alkyl halides, it may be elimination or it may be substitution. They are not very reactive like tertiary alkyl halides, and they are not poor reactive like primary alkyl halides. They are moderate intermediate. They are intermediate reactive. That's why the predicting is very difficult with the secondary alkyl halides. But we will try to understand the secondary alkyl halides. Now, fourth point about secondary alkyl halide, which is the more difficult part. Secondary alkyl halide, mixture of products are common. It can form the mixture of products. But we can predict one particular product that depends on conditions. Okay, most of the reactions, mixture of products will be formed. When we take strong base and nucleophile, second order kinetics, SN2, E2. When I take good ionizable solvent like weak base or weak nucleophile, what is the common products? SN1, E1, because they are first order kinetics. Is it clear? Point is clear. For example, I have taken secondary alkyl halides, sodium methoxide. Sodium methoxide is a strong base or strong nucleophile also. It acts as strong base as well as strong nucleophiles. With secondary alkyl halides, as the reactivity of secondary alkyl halides towards substitution and towards elimination is intermediate, not very high reactive, not very poor reactive. It is intermediate, so it can form the SN2 product and E2 product both. Means SN2 product means this nucleophile can substitute here CH3, CO, CH3, CH3. This is SN2 plus E2. E2 means undergo elimination. One of the hydrogen from beta position, Br is eliminated. Elimination process. It forms CH2 double bond CH, CH3. This is E2. Okay. Mixture of the products are it. But depending on the conditions, in the competitive examinations, conditions will be different. They will not be the same example. There will be different types of conditions. Conditions, based on conditions, products we can predict. For example, if I take the bulkier bases, bulkier base if I take, mean tertiary butoxide, previous primary alkyl halides I have taken one example, tertiary butoxide. This is tertiary butoxide. Okay, tertiary butoxide, which is highly hindered base, When I take that type of highly hindered bases, or little bit less hindered, I can take this isopropoxide. If I take tertiary butoxide, again it becomes weak base, but these reactions are strong base. So I will take the isopropoxide. Isopropoxide is the one bulkier nucleophile, bulkier base. So in that case, when bulkier bases are present, only E2 predominant. No SN2. SN2 cannot be formed. Because to form SN2, if I take this type of bulkier nucleophile, this nucleophile has to reach to the carbon. whenever it has to reach to the carbon, due to bulkiness, that molecule cannot form the product. So instead it can easily take one proton, it can form the E2. Okay, that's what I am telling. Based on the given conditions, we have to write the product. These are predictions. I written the heading again, predicting substitution and elimination. Exactly we cannot say in case of secondary alkyl halides, but depends on the conditions. We can eliminate some of the possibilities and we can predict one good product. Okay, one unique mechanism, one unique product is not possible for always for the organic reactions. Based on the conditions, we can eliminate some of the possibilities, we can get the right or good product. Again, we can predict the good product. Now here, whenever we take the bulkier bases or bulkier nucleophiles also, I can get only E2. Next, second thing. If I take that this is a weak base. Weak base. For this weak base, what is the product here? Weak base, why it is a weak base? Due to electron withdrawing nature of CO. Due to electron withdrawing nature of CO, this molecule, this ion is said to be weak base. With weak base, what we will get? SN1E1. SN1 means CH3, CH, COCH3, CH3 plus, this is SN1 plus, next one is E1. E1 means elimination. Same like this product, CH2, double bond, CH, CH3. This is E1. Okay. As secondary alkyl halides are intermediate reactive towards substitution and elimination, mixture of the products are formed in these reactions. So again, depending on the condition, one will be the major and one will be the minor. That depends on the conditions. If this molecule is secondary alkyl halide taken, weak base are taken, we are getting SN1 and E1. If I take very bulkier, if I take secondary alkyl halides very bulkier, sometimes it may undergo rearrangements also. Based on the rearrangements, whenever we get SN1 and E1, they undergo products formation with rearrangement because the intermediates formed in SN1 and E1 reactions are carbocations. Due to carbocations formation, they undergo some rearrangements also. Okay. So these are the secondary alkyl halides. Most of the cases two are forming, but based on the given conditions. Given conditions like high temperature, bulkiness, and bulkiness of alkyl halide, bulkiness of base, high temperature, all these factors will promote one particular product over the other. Okay, so this is about the secondary alkyl halides. Again, we have to discuss some other points. Next, fifth point is some strong bases enhances elimination, only elimination. In some particular reactions, only elimination, which can be enhanced by the some particular strong bases, which are highly hindered, means tertiary butoxide. Tertiary butoxide. Tertiary butoxide enhances elimination. It promotes in reactions only elimination. Because of its bulkiness, it cannot undergo substitution. Rather than substitution, for this molecule, abstraction of the proton from beta carbon is very easy. That's why substitution is not possible. Substitution is not possible with the tertiary butoxide. Only elimination is possible. Even with primary alkyl halides, if I take the tertiary butoxide, it will be primary actually. Primary alkyl halides generally undergo by which type of mechanism? SN2. But this is SN2 is not possible because the base is here very highly hindered. When I take highly hindered molecule, it can form only E1. Okay, so I can write here because it is a strong base. Strong base. Whenever strong base are there, we will write second order kinetics E2. Okay. Not only this, you can take any bulkier bases. Next, sixth point is some strong nucleophiles. Strong nucleophile means highly polarizable, mean which are having more atomic sizes. For example, I can also take SH minus. Strong nucleophile in the sense conjugate base of strong acids. Conjugate base of strong acids are strong nucleophiles. Okay. So whenever you take the strong base, conjugate base of strong acids, SH minus, I minus, Br minus, these are particularly enhances substitution. For example, if I take this one Br, okay, this is bromoalkanes, reacts with sodium iodide. Here iodide minus is a good nucleophile or strong nucleophile. So this can substitute here and Br is eliminated and the resultant product is I. This is only SN2, no E2. E2 will not be formed in this case. Okay. So this way we can predict the particular products. Some particular nucleophiles, some particular bases. Okay. Based on the primary alkyl halides, secondary alkyl halides, tertiary alkyl halides, given the conditions, based on this we can predict the products. But always keep in mind that we have to always remove the sum of the possibilities and we have to predict one unique product, because organic reactions will not proceed by unique mechanism.